and welcome to my little corner of YouTube. My name is Lindsay Pogue. I am the author of The Savage North Chronicles and The Ruined and Forgotten Lands. Today, I am doing another installment in my top 5 favorite books that I've written to date. I've written about 30, and as of right now, when readers ask me which is my favorite book, I can never pick one. So I'm giving you my top 5 instead. Okay, so this one's a little tricky because I couldn't pick one without the other, so you're getting a 2 for here. These books are in my Ruined Lands series, okay? Before I talk about them, I will say this. There will be spoilers. If you have not read this series, I suggest you skip this video because this series is one of my twistiest as far as plot goes, and I don't want to give all the amazing things away because you haven't read the series yet. These are books 2 and 3 in the series, and technically they are standalones, but it's a chef's kiss when you read all 3 of them in order together, okay? All the punches have the extra pack that way. So here's the thing. These books are everything that I want to write. Now, I know that I have other series that are reader favorites, other books that are reader favorites, other books that I absolutely love and adore, characters that are my favorite. But as far as what I have always wanted to write, that is this series and this world, okay? When I first started writing this series and even just brainstorming it, I felt invigorated, I felt whole, and I was just so excited to start this new project. So there is no question as to why these books would possibly be on this list, right? Okay, funny fact first. This is the book, the last one in the series, that I actually thought of first. It's the one I was the most excited to write, but I knew I couldn't get there without doing a lot of other Easter eggs and character buildup. So 2 books before this one came into play. And just because, please hold. This is the first book in the series. I absolutely adore this one too. Don't get me wrong. But I feel a little guilty having all 3 books as one, right? I mean, I can maybe get away with 2, but all 3, no. So I knew to get to the 3rd book that I needed a lot of character buildup, a lot of world building. So that's why, even though I knew this would be the final product, I had to start at book 1, and then I had to move to book 2, and so on. Book 1, book 2, book 3, and there you go. So let's start with why Sea of Storms made the list. It is every single thing that I love to watch in my period dramas and love to read, that there are not nearly enough books written like this, in my opinion. It is gritty. It feels real in a lot of ways. It's historical. I'm obsessed with history. It has that fantasy element it has a little bit of mythology in there, island survival, weather-ravaged worlds, and the romantic thread in it as well is just, I love it because I got to write a badass heroine who she's not a pinup girl. She is straight up a scrawny, hungry, desperate woman who has gone through hell to survive. And she still is one of the most human characters that I've ever written. She's a humanitarian at heart, and there's just something about Bren that I fell in love with while I was writing her. She's scrappy and she's just like a shining light in so many ways, even though she's so gritty and dark and she's had a very, very hard life. Having her pitted against her mortal enemy who has been this ghost in her life who has haunted her was so much fun because underneath, Killian isn't just the Reaper who has, again, haunted her dreams and killed her family, or so she thinks. He is a broken man, a drunk man. He is battling his own demons, and to watch them go back and forth throughout this story was just so much fun to write, and to see these different parts of their character that I didn't expect. For instance, I'm thinking about the scene where he realizes she doesn't eat enough, and he starts learning more about her background and how she's used to being hungry all the time and how that guts him thinking about it. Or her seeing a softer side of him when he's untangling her hair. Just those little things that make them so much more human and relatable. And I just absolutely loved writing that. I loved the adventure. There are some twists in this story that were just so much fun to come up with and write about. And all of it leads up to the third installment. There are so many more plot twists in this that I knew I was working towards, but it just felt so gratifying as I was writing them, and then getting beta reader feedback like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I thought X, Y, and Z. This one to me it felt like a masterpiece at the time. Like, I was like, this is my best book yet, you know? And I think it's because The Huntsman is so much more than even the reader realizes for most of the story. And unraveling that was so challenging because I had to do it in a way that you didn't hate his character. You might have been frustrated and curious and uncertain, but you didn't hate him. And it was hard based on what he was doing, right? So if you have read this, then you know the Huntsman is actually a very endearing character in a lot of ways. And uncovering that through Thora's eyes was really fun. And also, the tension in this one was really fun to write as well. This is, for me, their relationship was such a long time coming that it obviously felt very natural. I think it does to the reader as well. But it was really fun to finally, after waiting for these moments and these scenes, finally, after all these years of writing these other books and putting these other books out, I finally got to do it with this one, you know? So this one is just so gratifying in so many ways. And this is definitely everyone's favorite in the series. So if you haven't gotten to it yet and you're still making your way through, I think you're in for a treat. Again, this series is, to me, I think it's so special. Even if it's not reader favorite by any means, I think it's so special to me because it embodies everything that makes me passionate about writing. It really dips into my love of history, of period dramas, of culture, of the romance side of things, enemies to lovers, the twists and turns you don't see coming, the deep progression of characters, and the complexity of just how broken people are, but how beautiful they are at the same time. Each one of these characters is so different. They've had so many hardships. There's so much heartbreak in all of these books in this series, but it's all for a reason, and it's all for that very hard-earned happily ever after that I absolutely loved. And another reason why I love this one so much is because I absolutely love writing the villain. Well, there's actually a number of them in this, and maybe that's why it was so fun, because I got to write more bad guys than I normally get to. Loved writing the queen and having her, you know, underlying story kind of unfolding. Loved writing the abbess. She's just horrible in every single way. Loved writing Harold, the Heartless. He was super fun to write. I don't really get to write characters like that, and so on. So I really hope that you take a chance on these. If you haven't, and I totally just gave you half of everything away, but I also purposely tried not to overshare because I worry people are gonna watch these and not read the books first. So anyways, definitely check out this series. It's like Black Sails meets Vikings meets whatever other else you can come up with. This one, if you really like Jane Eyre, this is a kind of a Beauty and the Beast Jane Eyre. This sets the scene for the books that I'm writing now in this series, actually. So check them out. You know I love me some adventure, beautiful landscapes, epic love stories, all the things. So I hope that was enlightening. Sorry for 3 in 1, but you know, I can't resist to break my own rules. Told you it's too hard to just pick one all the time anyway. So until next time, you can find the other books in the series, the other videos in the series in the description below, and feel free to follow me on all my social media. Be sure you like and subscribe because I'm going to have a lot more of these videos coming up in the weeks to come because I have a lot of reader questions to answer. That being said, be sure to put your reader questions below so I can create a video and answer them at some point. I do have a list. I'm working through them, and that's it. So until next time, thank you so much for your super thanks. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I have more audiobook news coming up for you soon, but definitely expect more reader questions and answers in the videos to come. Until next time, happy reading adventures, everybody. I'll talk to you then.